If ever there is an air of intrigue and mystery around a pop artist, it is around the artist known as Rodriguez.
Searching for Sugarman is one of the hottest documentaries of the year, racking up awards worldwide. Now it's in the running for an Academy Award. The film tells the unusual story of Rodriguez, a singer from Detroit who never gained fame in America but became, somehow, a legend in South Africa. And the story behind the movie? Pretty remarkable too. It was shot partly on an iPhone. Benjalul told us that was a matter of necessity.
And one day I realized that there was this $1 app on my iPhone. And I tried it and it looked basically the same as the real stuff.
The director showed us frame by frame where he used the app. One example, this aerial sequence.
This is actually an out of a flight window with this. It looks like real film, it really does. You can't tell the difference.
I am Stu, and welcome back to another video tutorial. Let's get started. This is the app 8mm, and actually looks quite good on the iPad Pro. It's certainly been optimized for it, but generally speaking, normally if I was using this app, I'd be using it on my iPhone, but it's fine for demonstration purposes to be on the iPad as well. As you saw from the beginning of the video, Malik Benjalul, hopefully I didn't butcher his name there, used this app in placement of the 16mm film that he was actually shooting as part of his documentary Searching for Sugarman, which came out in 2012. Now, the backstory, I think, is that he ran out of film or money for film. He needed about half a dozen shots to complete the shoot, and he turned to this very inexpensive app called 8mm. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how I use this app, because I never actually film with the app and bake in the effect. I always do it after the fact. So I'm still using the likes of Filmic Pro to capture the video and then putting it through this app and giving it a vintage feel. So let me show you how I do it. Now, to give you a quick tour, if I use my trackpad, tap on info, you can see they've sort of laid out what everything does. The things that we're interested in are the change of lens, up here on the right, the record button, the load video, the ability to change the film, apply the frame jitter, and the sound options. The bits that we're not so interested in are the front camera and the flash, although you can go into the rules and clips to make alterations to the settings, which I'll show you next. In case you're wondering why I don't have any live feed to record, it's because I've got a post-it note over my camera. So this iPad is effectively pointing at my toes, and I don't think you want to see that. That's why it looks a bit blank. If we go into our reels and clips and then tap on the top right here, again I'll just move over to a trackpad so you can see where I'm tapping. You've got two choices with the aspect ratio. You've got 4:3 and 16:9. I would leave it to the 4:3 because that's obviously how 8mm, 16mm film, kind of the aspect ratio was. The resolution though, I would keep it its high setting, which is 4K. That just gives you flexibility later on for being able to scale it to how you want it. After that, you've got the frame rate. You can put it to normal, which is whatever it's been recorded at, or you can change it to 18 frames per second. I like to go for the 18 frames per second because again, it gives that vintage look. So I'm pretty much keeping to the defaults. Now, if you've got audio on your video clip and you want to mix with the recording of the projector sound, you can tap this and that will combine the two. But I'm going to show you later on how you can capture projector sound separately so you've got more control over it. And then once you're done, tap done, and then tap the camera icon, and this takes you back to the main 8mm interface. Rather than filming with 8mm, which of course you can do with your iPhone or your iPad if you really wanted to, what I prefer to do is film with Filmic Pro as I normally would, and then pop the footage in here after the fact to apply the vintage effect. So if we tap on the load option, we go to recents, and we tap on the little girls, you can then see the effect that it's going to create. If you want to change the lens view, you can tap on the lens and change the style. You've got different sort of vignettes edge effects, light leaks, you've got glitch effects. I quite like this window where you see the edge of the frame. After that, you can choose your color effect. Now my personal preference for this particular video is indigo, but again, if you just tap your way through, you can see all the different color effects that can be applied. And obviously you can adjust them further in LumaFusion at a later stage. So I'm going to leave it to indigo. Now, however long your footage is, basically that's what's going to be recorded and automatically saved to your Photos app. And the only other button that you need to know about is this button in the middle, which gives you a kind of jittery frame skip, as if it was coming from the projector and it just skipped a bit. So if we press record, you can see it's starting to record. And when I get to the 4-second mark, I'm going to do a frame jump, and then that's it, finished. It automatically saves to your Photos app, and you're then ready to record the next clip. We're now back in LumaFusion. What I'm going to do now is drag the clip onto the timeline. This is just a normal 16:9, 24 FPS Rec 709 clip, even though it's got a softer vibe about it. Because we've recorded it in 4K, and even though it's got a sort of softer vintage vibe about it, it's still a good quality video clip, and that's what we need. So the first thing I'm going to do is resize it. You can either tap one on the keyboard or tap on the pencil icon, and then from there we're going to go to size, and we're going to bring it down to around about 40. So I get as close as I can, and then just tap a few times, get it bang on 40, and then just tap the arrow in the top left to go back, and you'll now see we've got the clip there without the projector sound. It's just on its own. And this is because you can have the projector sound, and I'll show you how to get it and manipulate it later on, but I tend to find that just playing these clips with maybe background music, something suitable to what you're actually seeing, or literally having silence there works better. Because obviously when you were filming with an 8mm or 16mm camera, it didn't record audio, and those cameras that did record audio were much later. You kind of want to keep this to being as realistic as possible. Either roll with just music or embrace the silence. And you never really want to, where possible, use the full screen. Always have plenty of black around it, because at the end of the day, this is 8mm footage and it's going to be an awful lot smaller. Back in the 8mm app, let me show you how you go about mixing things up a bit. So we've got a mum and baby. We're then going to tap on the projector icon to get the projector sound. And then this time I'm going to go for a 2-color effect. Then I'm going to tap on the lens choice and go for this of offset rounded corner vignette mask frame thingy. I don't know what you would call it. Once we're set up to go, tap record. And again, this clip is 8 seconds. So once it's finished, it will save to the Photos app and blank out, ready for the next clip. Remember, you're going to be recording your footage to its highest quality in likes of Filmic Pro or the default app, or whatever video app you tend to use, and then get it in here after the fact, and it gives you much more control. Now this is why I chose this particular lens, because I was switching on the projector sound, because to me this looks like it's being projected, so the projector sound makes sense, and you get the flickering and that. And I didn't need to do the stutter effect. But what if you wanted to control a little bit more of where the video is being positioned? Because currently it's just going to crop in from the center. So unless you're filming your video with that in mind and everything's central, you're going to have to do some tweaking and moving things around. So let me show you how you do that next. So to be able to take control of where you're positioning your video within the 4:3 ratio, we're going to tap on the new project icon, or back to your projects I should say, and then tap on new project icon, and we're going to change the frame aspect ratio to 4:3, which actually comes in under iPad landscape. You can name the file if you want, vintage video. We'll just do 4:3 and tap the plus sign. I'm going to keep the frame rate at 24, even though it's been recorded at 18 by the app, and then standard Rec 709. So we tap go. We can then take our original footage in this case the mum and baby, bring it down, and from there we can go into our pencil icon or press 1 on the keyboard, and you can then reposition things. So for example, I could go up and down, resize, or more realistically I can just reposition so that there's a little bit more of mum's hand, the flower, and obviously the interests on what the baby's looking at, so it's a little bit more offset, kind of following the rule of thirds. Once you've done that, tap on the arrow to go back and you can see the new setup, and then all we've got to do now is just export it into photos. And again, you can retain the higher quality 4K option, or if you've only got 1080, you could set that as well. I'm going to choose 4K, video only, no need for sound, and the video quality I'm just going to set to standard, which is double what I actually need. That gives me a 37.7 megabyte file because it's only an 8-second clip. And then tap export, and as you can see, thanks to the new M1 chip, processes this stuff really fast. And then we'll go into the 8mm app and you can look at it in there. We're back in the 8mm app. We tap on our albums, and then there we have our 4:3 version, and you can now see it's repositioned perfectly. We're going to choose a different look. Let me see. I think we'll go for that kind of light leak look. It kind of suits the colour of the flowers. Now, in terms of the film stock, I think we might stick to where we were at before, which is the 2-color. Yeah, the 2-color works best. So again, we're going to switch on our projector sound, and this time we're going to put a few jitters into it as well. Press record, and then I'm just going to wait to roughly 4 seconds and just jump the footage. Do the same thing just as it finishes, and that's it recorded. Let me show you how to save the audio for the projector sound. So we just recorded this clip here, it's 8 seconds long, the mum and baby, and you can hear the projector sound going on. Now what I actually want to do is I want to give the sound a little bit more oomph. So I'm going to highlight the clip, then going to duplicate it, and you'll see now it has a sort of double effect. Now if we take the sound, we can, if you want, offset it ever so slightly, so you get this. And then also, if we press 4 on the keyboard or tap on the pencil icon, we can raise base decibels up to +5 decibels on the copy and then play through. And then all you've got to do is just tap on your share export and share audio only. Put it into your files, or you can use it to send to another app if you want to work in like WavePad or something. But generally I just put it into my iCloud files. You'll see it's not very big at all, 92 kilobytes. And because it's a loop, you can take that 8-second chunk. You could actually just make it 2, 3, 4 seconds and then just repeat it. But 8 seconds is enough for me. Tap OK, and then we'll just give it a name. So we'll call it projector sound effect. Tap and save, and you'll see it's almost instantaneous. And I'm just going to put this into the audio assets for this particular project. Tap save, and that means when you want to bring in a projector sound going forward, all you've got to do is go to your files. From there, go to the correct folder. In this case, we're going to LumaFusion video tutorials and vintage video, audio assets, and you'll see there's the projector sound effect. Tap and play it. And we can just drag and drop it onto our timeline, giving us 3 layers of sound. It just gives a depth to the sound, which I really like. So it's as simple as that to get your audio out of a clip, and that goes for any audio. So if you ever capture a sound effect or you're filming something and there's a sound you really like and you want to save that, then just cut that particular clip to the segment you want to save and then just share export audio only. But as I've shown you here, sometimes you've got to kind of boost the sound and just give it a little bit more depth than you would do just saving the sound straight up. There we go, hope you've enjoyed the video tutorial today. If you have, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. If I've earned your subscription, then please feel free to subscribe, click the bell so that you can be informed of my next video tutorial, and I'll catch you again in the next one. See you later.